Good evening, everyone. So today I'm mainly going to be talking about keys, but I thought I'd show a couple of little things beforehand, just to show you, a couple of other things that I've got planned. First one is everyone, hopefully, if you've been watching the channel for any time, and please go back and have a look at all the other videos if you haven't, knows that I love these shaped locks, the oval shaped locks. I've got, well, 1, 2 there, sort of ovally shaped one there. I've got another one here. Very much my favourite shape of lock. But I tend to quite like chunky locks as well. I'm not a huge fan of the miniatures, of the little dinkies. But and I may have overpaid a bit for this one, but I found this on eBay, and I just had to have it. So this, which I'm hoping is coming into focus, is pretty much the smallest lock I've got. It's a little dinky oval shaped lock. Look at that, isn't that cute? Right, I'll tell you why I think I overpaid for it. Number one, I don't think it is what it says it is. Whether it's old, I couldn't tell you. It has WR on the front with a crown. I don't think there's any chance that that's from the reign of William, even the most recent William that we've had in the UK. The keyhole cover doesn't really fit brilliantly. It's a bit hand-potched, handmade. I think the base might be one lock. I think the keyhole cover has been put on separately, but I just thought it was a dinky little lock. So that's my and it works. I mean, I can't fault it. It locks perfectly well, and it unlocks. He says, there we are. So it's dinky. It's fun. I can put it on my, put it on my desk. There we are. So that's my winner for for eBay recently. A quick look at some fire brigade locks. I bought 4 of them just for a bit of fun. They were a bit cheap. It cost me about £5 each, I think, and that included the postage. So that wasn't bad. I've taken the front cover off one. I'm going to put a plastic on it. There's a chap on Facebook who wants one, or wants a couple of plastic coated, plastic fronted locks. If you wonder why you can overlift fire brigade locks, here it comes. That's the internals. Basically your levers are quite literally cross shaped. So there is your lever. There's your second lever. There is no bottom to them. There is no there's nothing stopping these levers from being overlifted, and you can just lift them all the way up, and doesn't matter how far you take them up, as long as you get them all up that high, the bolt will come across or go back on themselves. Saying that, it's moderately well made. They're pretty solid. I'll tidy them up, I'll put a front cover on it, and chap can use it for a bit of practice. So that's the inside of a fire brigade lock. So keys. Why have I gone on to keys? I've gone on to keys a little bit. I'm always interested in keys, but I'm predominantly interested in keys when it comes to the fact that, interested in anything when it's got a patent attached to it. And Belfry, so this is Henry Harrison and Sons, Willenhall, but the Belfry brand have a patent number on their keys. Now, this was noticed by Chris Capoon quite recently in one of his videos, and he wondered what it was about, so I mentioned it was actually a patent about how you made the key, fundamentally. And so I thought I'd run through keys very, very quickly, and specifically that patent. Keys, historically, are manufactured 2 ways. You would either, and this is sort of the way for chunkier keys, you would probably cast it, and as you cast it, and you can see that, especially on, you won't be able to see it very easily on this one, but on this one you've got the casting marks. You'd have a cast, you'd cast the blank, and you cast the whole thing, take it off, probably then drill a hole if you haven't already got that in the cast, and then you would send it off to a machine shop The machine shop would put it through a normal key cutter and cut you the bitting. The other option is that, and this is what you get with most of the modern sort of straight through, pin keys. They're made up of 2, 3, 4 parts in some cases. So I've got a load of them over here, and they're all done pretty much the same way. You have the shaft, you have the bitting, and you have the shank at the end, and then they're all basically soldered or welded together, or they're machined out of a whole block. Now obviously that takes time. It takes quite a lot of time. You also introduce stress points with soldering on. They've got to be done properly, so you've got to have some moderately skilled craftsmen. What Henry Harrison and Sons Belfry came up with was a methodology of mass producing keys already bitted with a simple machine, and that's what the patent's all about. So I'll try and put some pictures up from the patent alongside the video, but fundamentally what they designed was a system that took in a strip of metal, and that strip of metal had been formed just by extruding brass or steel or whatever you wanted to make it out of through a die, and that die would be a circle with 2 wings on them, so it would look a bit like that if they were overlapped, so you would have a bit on one side and a bit on the other side. They then put this strip through a machine, and the machine did 2 things. Number one, the first thing it did was it punched the hole here and put a little notch in, and that notch allowed the whole thing to actuate through at the right size, at the right steps. So that was quite an interesting little extra. So clunk click, hole, little notch. Then moved forwards, the notch caught, and then the next stamp, the next press in the machine basically sheared off all of this metal and all of this metal and all the metal around the back of here, leaving fundamentally the key shape. And they also had a series of flat plates, and these flat plates would be put in at certain heights, and they would come down and slice off the bitting. So you would manufacture 1,000 of one type. You take that bit off, and then you change the position of the plates, and that would give you a different bitting. And then you could run the whole thing through again, punch out another 1,000. And that basically gave you a way of mass producing keys, pre-bitted, with minimal effort and very little in the way of actual skilled labour. Few things that needed doing to the key afterwards. There was sometimes left a little bit of extra on the edge, so it would have gone through a machine or some sort of process just to machine those off. And then if you can have a look up the top here, hopefully you can see. Let me get a little board, see if the thing focuses a bit better. There we are. What you can see up the top here is this little rectangular area. That is the remains of what is fundamentally the key body, the key shank, because that rib would go all the way up the strip, and that again has just been machined off, quick machine off, and in this case they've stamped the key code and the fact that it's got a registered trademark on the other side, and that basically is how they made a key. Quick, easy. Patent was there in the 1930s. And basically automated the manufacture of those keys, which I think was probably quite a revolution of its time. So hopefully that was just a quick run through Belfry and the Belfry keys and why they have a patent on them. Okay, well, that's all from me tonight. Good night, Nostar.